Do you support Trump?
I do support Trump. I don't like Trump, but I support him.
Okay. If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who'd you rather vote for?
100% Donald Trump.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
I think that he's doing a pretty good job as far as the tariffs, how he's bringing back a lot of manufacturing into the country through the tariffs. I think that in the long run, it's going to pay off. We're going to bring more manufacturing back into America. We're going to bring more jobs back. He's throwing back money, which is something that a lot of presidents haven't done. Is they we saw Biden throw a lot of money to different countries. We're seeing Trump give back to the American people, specifically the middle class and lower class, to try to stimulate that economy. So you see, they're doing the tariffs. They're getting money from the tariffs. They're stimulating the economy with that money. I like that idea. I don't necessarily like Trump. I think he's probably a terrible guy. I think the government is probably just as corrupt as it was before. I used to be very MAGA.
Can I respond real quick?
Since the whole what was that?
Can I respond to some of these points?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so since Trump's got in office, domestic manufacturing investments actually declined, accounting for inflation. And actually, we've seen even less jobs. Even Goldman Sachs recently just indicated that we're likely to see a reduction of jobs by tens of thousands of jobs for this for October. But we don't have that information quite yet from the Bureau of Labor Statistics because of the federal government shutdown. We can also point to the fact that Donald Trump's not giving more back to the American people. Tariffs actually have a regressive tax structure, meaning that they negatively impact lower and middle income individuals to a greater extent because they spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer goods. So actually, it stimulates the economy to a lesser extent and decreases the size of the GDP. And we've actually had worse off economic conditions because of the tariffs. And then
Well,
also
so
like
you
the chat spamming that you owed Dean 2K apparently.
yeah, I was on one of his chat streams, and he was using explicit language, and I kind of condemned him for calling me the B word. And then he said that he didn't call me the B word. We made a bet on it. Then he went back and he did call me the B word, but people are saying that I owe him $2,000. It's stupid. Anyways,
So wait, so
so you're
wait, so he you bet him $2,000 on what?
that he didn't call or that he did call me the B word. He was calling me a couple slurs.
A
He was
couple
getting
slur.
frustrated.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't talk like that, so I don't want to talk about that. But and then I repeated it him, and I said, you were calling me the R word and all these other things, and people just took it out of context. But that's just how the world works, as I'm sure you know.
Okay, I'm so confused right now. So, you're saying that Dean called you slurs, which you're referencing. He said he didn't, and then he
He
bet you
did. He
on that.
did.
And
He
then there's a
just
lot of people saying that he didn't say that.
no, yeah, he did call me slurs.
Did oh, what the hell? Did you say the R slur?
An Amber Alert. I didn't say the R. I didn't say call him an R slur. I said that I thought he had called me the R slur. I did misspeak. He didn't call me the R slur, but I thought he did. But he did call
And
me other
did
slurs.
you like say it out loud? I think that you shouldn't do that.
I, I did, but I wasn't saying that as like calling him that. I was just saying like you called me this, but he called me an idiot, and I thought I just misheard what he
Okay.
said. I just forgot what he said.
Okay.
It's a stupid little thing. Anyways, back to the
No.
argument.
It's definitely something that you shouldn't do. Like, I definitely think you shouldn't do that. But when it comes to this, people are saying you owe Dean 2,000. I mean,
No, I don't. Well, do you not want to talk to me, or do you want to get to the actual conversation here? Or you're
I gave you things
are you the
you
debt
could
collector here?
respond to. There's a
I
lot
did.
of
I
people
just did. I
saying you owe
totally
him
explained it to
2K.
you.
Just talk. Just call Dean. Um.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave this because this is going nowhere.
Okay. Wait. No.
Nice talking to
I
you.
told you you could respond to things, and you're not responding to them.
Well, I try to, and
Go
you're
ahead.
talking about comments in the chat from people who just spam.
Okay. Okay, man. All right. Go for it, man. Give me a response.
Well, so I think that what you're talking about with tariffs is probably valid. Like I said, I'm not a global economist, but what I do think is happening and what their plan is that by doing the tariffs, they're trying to bring manufacturing back into America, which is not a short term plan. You're not going to see. He's only been in office doing this in 1 year. I do think that in the long run, it's going to pay off. It's going to bring more jobs. It's already bringing more jobs into America because it's more expensive to do manufacturing outside of America with the tariffs. So it brings back more manufacturing, which is going to stimulate the economy. It's not a short-term plan; it's a long-term plan. And I think it's just a general sense that Americans feel like we're feeling the rise in the economy. People are spending more money. The GDP is up right now. I think it's at
GDP
a
growth
4.
has gone down since Trump got in office. And if you look at every other industry outside of the context of AI, we see practically no growth. So this I don't understand what you're talking about.
So maybe that's true. The last I've checked, the GDP is at 4. Under Biden, it was a 1. I'm not going to say like
that's a complete misnomer. It was not 1% real GDP growth under Biden. That's just false.
Okay, well maybe it is false. I'm not sure, but my whole stance behind still supporting the Trump administration is not that I like him.
Oh, wait, hold up. I'm sorry. We can go into stuff after. Dean said, "Let me up" in all caps.
Sure.
Daniel, what did I tell you, Daniel? I told you.
Dean, your followers are spamming me, bro.
I told you I would. I'm so pissed I just swiped out of the app. I told you I would put you down to the ends of the earth on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere, Daniel. The only way you could escape me is by deleting all of your social media accounts.
Why would I need to do that?
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Do owe me $2,000.
I don't think I do, man. I really don't think I do.
Absolutely do. Parker,
you definitely said, and I quote, you said, you're being a little B word.
Wait. Did I say that to you?
It's it's in the same way that supposedly I called you the R slur when I wasn't actually saying that. I wasn't saying that to you. I was saying in a general sense. You were calling me slurs.
So just to catch you up, Parker. Here's what happened. Okay, this guy's on my live. He's like being insufferable.
I was being super respectful, dude.
Can you mute the guy? He has a problem with holding off. So anyways, to get back to what I was saying, he was being insufferable. Then I was kind of like, hey, you're kind of an idiot. And then he went on this like long soliloquy about how, I was oppressing him before being MAGA because I'm just like freaking out and being disrespectful. And then I was like, hey, listen, if like you walked up to somebody with a knife and cut their arm open and then they started like crying and whining and screaming because their arm is bleeding and it's all cut open. And then you turned around and you were like, hey, you're a little because you're crying. Like, would that make sense? Like, no, it wouldn't make sense to get mad at them for crying because they have good reason to, rooted in the fact that you just cut their arm open, right? And then he then bet me $2,000 that I called him a bitch when it was obvious that the only time the word came up was in a hypothetical scenario, not in reference to himself whatsoever, but rather in justification of my own negative response to his bull. And he owes me $2,000 now because he lost that bet and he's refusing to pay up.
I wonder what his response is to that. I sent him an invite to unmute.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought I was unmuted. Okay,
fake
so
news,
Dean,
fake news. What is this fake news? Oh my God.
I think you guys like Trump more than you guys like to admit. Dean,
no, I'm making fun of him
I will say this on record just for the sake of it because it doesn't mean as much to me as it means to all of your followers. I will say on record, I owe you $2,000. How about that? But will you admit that you made a
Venmo and PayPal in the link tree in the bio.
I will do that when I have the money. I don't have the money. I'm broke. But why
would you make a $2,000 bet then, man?
Okay, but will you make a second?
Daniel,
will you admit that?
And also, why do you support Trump then? What the dude? I'm sorry. Why do you support Trump? He's increasing your taxes, bro.
Hey, no, my taxes aren't increased. If anything, I'm making more money. I'm spending more money because I'm spending more money because I have a business. But that's me not having money has nothing to do with.
You're
I'm
making more
actually
money, so your
making more
business
money
is
than
doing
I
great
was.
right now, right?
I'm making more money. I can afford my groceries. My
You just said that
taxes
you
are
were
less.
broke.
I'm possibly going to be able to buy a house soon because now they
Oh,
have
he's
the 10-year
possibly going to be able
mortgage.
to buy a house, but he does not have enough to pay Dean. What?
Hey, you guys run businesses. You guys know how it goes. You spend money, you get money. I'm constantly getting
No,
money.
wait, no, wait.
I'm an investor. I
Yeah, wait.
invested all my money.
I'm sorry. You invested all your money, so you have no personal savings.
No, well, I have money to spend on the things that I need, but I don't have savings. No, I don't. I'm an investor. I invest in a
You
lot of
don't
things.
have money to be able to pay for your groceries then.
Buddy, you got to
No,
sell those NVIDIA stocks.
I do have
pay
money
up.
to. I don't have money to throw away,
You
but
got you got to sell those NVIDIA stocks and pay up.
I will pay you, Dean,
just
your
kidding.
$2,000, but you have to pay me your $2,000 stimulus check when you get it, because you told me that if you get the stimulus check, that you would give it to me.
All right, now we're going on to misinterpretation number 2, buddy. Go ahead and roll back the clip of the first conversation that we had today. You offered me that bet, right? Because I told you that I don't think we're going to get the stimmy checks. And then you were like, oh, okay, so then make me a bet. So if we do get them, you owe me $2K. And I was like, no, even though I don't think we're going to get them, if we do get them, I'm not going to give you it. So we didn't even make a bet. The only bet made, right, is the fact that you owe me 2 racks, all right? Because you lied and said I
Okay,
called you a
that's true.
bitch.
Listen, guys, I respect both of you guys immensely. I think you guys are very bright individuals. I'm in no means like I'm not your typical MAGA. I don't think Donald Trump is a good guy. I think he's probably a horrible guy. I'm just an American.
So you
I
voted
want
for a horrible guy that increases your taxes, that incited a violent
I
insurrection at the
voted for-
Capitol, that
so-
called for a termination of the Constitution, that violates constitutional rights.
I believe that we didn't have a good pick as far as morality goes. I don't think there has been a presidential candidate that has been morally good. So that's a separate argument. The argument right here is who is running the country better, which government runs the country better. And I
Who's
believe
morally better,
that
Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Let's make that clear first.
it depends on what your moral code is. Where do you get your moral ethics from?
I'm asking you from your perspective.
I mean, if you don't get them from Diddy, Epstein, or Satan, then it's probably Kamala Harris who's better, right?
No, I mean, I don't think that either of them. So I get my moral codes from the Bible. I don't think that either of the candidates actually have a moral code.
Okay.
If it is,
Here's my question.
Who knows? Did Trump hang out? Why won't they release the Epstein files? I don't know. Is Trump on that?
Name 2
He's probably
things
a
that
terrible dude.
Name 2 things Donald Trump supports or does that support Christian norms or Christian ideals to a greater extent comparative to Kamala Harris.
For instance, we're supporting I don't support lies being legalized, the litigation of gender lies. I think that the science backs up the truth, and that's what should be taught in schools, and nothing political things aside from whatever you want to align with. That shouldn't be taught as like curriculum in schools and shouldn't be put into law. We shouldn't have to obligate an entire half of a country to oblige and obey political ideologies.
Wait, I have a question. Do you think that
He didn't
that
even
the
say
right,
2. But go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think? Okay, this is it for me. Then I'm probably gonna drop. Do you think that the right politicizes Christianity?
Of course, they do. I think that the right is politicizing Christianity. I think there's a bunch of Christians
then
that don't
Christianity
understand the
shouldn't be taught in
Bible that
schools.
are
Christianity.
totally.
So then Christianity shouldn't be taught in schools, right?
I think that we should teach that you can the standard American belief. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You have the freedom to choose, but that doesn't mean that we're going to put into law. Do I think that like we should put into law Sharia law? Definitely not. Do I think that we should force everybody to be Christian? Definitely not. I think it should be a free country, just like we all have that God-given right to live freely and believe whatever we want to believe.
Okay, I'm gonna drop now, Parker. I appreciate you for letting me up. All right,
Dean, I'm gonna run you back that 2K. Okay, I promise.
Well, I'll be waiting, pal. I'll be waiting. Bro.
Give me a few weeks. I'll run it back.
This guy, dude. So I asked you the question, what are 2 things that Donald Trump upholds in terms of Christian views more than Kamala Harris? 1, you brought up gender lies taught in school. 1, these aren't lies. 2, that's nothing to do with Christianity at all. Like literally nowhere in Christianity
were you
says
taught that in
I'll use this specific biological usage of the term. And if you're talking about science denial, I mean, Trump is the king of science denial. We can talk about that if you'd like.
Well, I want to just ask you, what if these are not lies, and why were we never taught this in school when we were in grade school?
Just because we weren't taught it in grade school doesn't mean it is a lie.
Well,
But
it's
that's a
just
ridiculous
because the
thing to
science
say.
doesn't back that up. Just because,
Wait, no,
and I have
no,
nothing
so
against.
when we're talking about gender in this sense, we're using it in like it's based upon our social commitments, our desires to be in accordance with certain sets of social characteristics as a prescription of our identity. So that's what we're talking about in terms of gender. That's not going to be a science topic, right? It's actually like how we utilize names. It's like a social how our social constructs of our names. Parker, like for example, for me, right? That's my name, and that's a social construct. There's nothing biologically that is ingrained within me that indicates that that's my name, but yet out of respect, you call me Parker, right?
But yeah, and that's a totally different argument. Out of respect, I can call you whatever you want. If Parker said that, hey, my binary pronouns are her, him, whatever it might be. Out of respect, I can honor that if I choose to. But because we're in America, if I choose not to, I should have the ability to not. And furthermore, I
Wait,
should
so,
be
so
able
no
to
one's
have
saying
my
you don't have the
daughters
freedom
go
of
into
speech or
bathrooms
like.
without having males in there. There's
So
reason
yeah,
why
Donald
we
Trump
say
barging into the changing rooms while your daughter's in there. So you understand that Donald Trump himself bragged about walking into the changing rooms of women while they're changing without their consent. Where an 18-year-old came out said there
okay,
were
so
4 girls as young as in these changing rooms when Donald Trump would barge in. If you care about adult men specifically in the context of changing rooms with young girls, then you should worry about the guy that you voted for doing that himself.
So like I said, that's an issue of morality. I don't by any means think that Donald Trump is a good guy. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't know if any of those things are true. If they are true, I think he's gross. I think that that's sick and he should get prosecuted for that. But I don't know.
But
So
yet you'd still
I
support him for
just
president?
I think that there was no right vote. I think that everybody in politics is sick and corrupt. I think there's a ton of corruption on both sides. But I voted for the person that I felt was going to run the country the best and help Americans because my main concern is America.
Okay, in what
I
way,
think that
though?
there was
How is Trump helping
there's
Americans to a
criminal.
greater extent?
I think that both candidates could have been. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of crime that's been committed, and they should be both prosecuted accordingly if it's true. I don't know though. I don't know any of the proof behind it. If any of it came out, I would condemn Trump for it. But why did I vote for Donald Trump and why do I still support the Trump administration is because I honestly believe there is not somebody more fit to run the country unless some of those things I can't say it's true or not because I'm not in the courtrooms. I don't know what evidence is being brought. If it's hearsay, if it's true, could be all fake. I don't know. But until it's
Okay, so
brought
why don't
up,
you say that with undocumented immigrants? But yeah, in terms of this,
I,
like you
I
haven't looked at every
I
individual
haven't
case,
made
therefore you
a
can't say
stance
that they
on
should be
undocumented
deported.
immigrants.
Well, I'm just saying like in general, like that should be the view then, right?
Well, I have a completely different opinion on undocumented immigrants. I think there should be due process, just like
Okay.
with Trump. I think that if you're trying to get into the country, then you should
Wait,
be able to.
then if you agree with that position that they should have due process, we can get to that in a second. That would be an important point to get to. I bet
Yeah,
there's a
I
lot of
don't, and you know
agreement that
what?
we
I'll
have
just
there.
tell you right now. I don't think that a lot of the MAGA movement. I think maybe on an extreme side, you get some of that. There's a huge amount of MAGA people that don't like Donald Trump. They aren't for all this, like just literally profiling immigrants and snatching them up.
So they're not
They just
MAGA.
want a safer, richer country. They want a
That's
more
not going to happen with
powerful.
Trump. That's not going to happen with a convicted felon as the president who literally pardoned violent rioters, police officers, and called them patriots. Right? That guy's not addressing crime to a greater extent. That's ridiculous. Why wouldn't you vote for the former prosecutor over the literal convicted felon?
They're
you
all
that's
they're all
ridiculous.
felons, man.
No, okay, no.
They're
So
all
I was going to
felons.
ask you this question: what crimes do you believe that Kamala Harris has committed?
I think there's if you look at her trades and things like that, there's insider trading being done.
She did insider
There,
trade. What insider trading did she engage in?
there's a ton of there's a huge investigation going on with that. There's a lot of people who are calling these
What?
people out.
There's not a where. What investigation is looking to see if
There,
Kamala
there,
Harris
The
insider
Trump
traded
administration currently has an investigation going on,
on Kamala Harris?
supposedly, on the entire Biden administration.
Okay, so there's no evidence that Kamala Harris is engaged in insider trading.
There
You
is
just
no
made,
evidence
You
as far
literally
as I
just
know,
made
but
that up.
there's a trial there, and they're going to get
Wait,
due
I'm sorry.
process.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait. So you're willing to accept it to be true when there's just an investigation with no evidence yet, right? But you're not willing to accept a court determination and jury determination that Donald Trump committed crimes?